Welcome back to All Shops, great and small. 3 years ago, we took Big Blue here and made a loop of the United States. 7,500 miles in 1 month. This is 1969. We're going to spring ahead 50 years. 50 years of Ford vans. Since I was old enough to drive, I've had this thing about being able to sit along the road in the rain with my motorcycle, listening to music. There's just something about the freedom of being able to do that, and a van's what allows that. First question is, why Ford? Because my dad said the biggest and the best construction companies in the world use Mack, Ford, and Cat. Next question has to be, why a window van? Well, the reason for a window van is that it's very easy to make it into a non-window van, and we'll show you how to do that. The registration on a station wagon in most states costs less than for a commercial van. In this case, with the model, the Transit van, the window van has a floor that's flat and complete and has tie downs for the seats, which can be used for many other things. But it also has passageways in the insulation for the heat that comes out in places in the back that a conventional commercial van would not have. Probably the biggest reason, though, is that the inside's done. You take the seats out. The headliner, all those corners, I've done that many times, and you're climbing in and out of that van hundreds and hundreds of times, custom fitting little pieces to finish off the corners and to finish off the headliner area, and it's a whole lot of work. That's all done in a window van. The biggest priority for this project, of course, is budget. So you can find window vans used much easier than you can find commercial vans, because plumbers and all that, they put 150,000 miles on and keep it for 10 years. But you can get window vans that are used as transportation at airports or wherever, church groups, and that's why it's a lot more available as far as a used vehicle goes. I belong to a church group that goes on a canoe trip every year, and the thing that you realize about the canoe trip is you want to travel light. The more stuff you have to carry up the bank, the more you carry back down the bank. Like Janis Joplin said, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. So we want to travel lightly. We're going to do this in 4 episodes. The first one today is going to be Module 1, we'll call it. Because we have a whole lot of different priorities that change on a project like this. We want it to be available as a 12-passenger station wagon. We want it to be able to be very comfortable for 2 people to sleep, me and the wife and the dog. And we want to be able to sleep 1 person comfortably and a motorcycle inside. That changes things. We want to be able to use it for tailgating and have the capabilities of hauling 6 people legally with seat belts and all with 10 minutes work. We can take everything out of here in 10 minutes and have it an open van for hauling all motorcycles. What we do is make a template out of cardboard and then cut it out of plywood, the light Luan plywood, and then glue this headliner material to the back of it with headliner glue, spray glue. Window plugs, I stretch the headliner material out, put a couple little tacks in it, and then put the glue on the one side only. And that doesn't make it totally permanent, but then I go around the edge here and with a good shot of glue, and then fold the edges up, and that's permanent then. Last window plug installed. We're going to put a little shelf on it with the paper towel rack. This way on the outside you can't even tell that it isn't a window van, which a window van doesn't get the kind of attention that a van with no windows in. Like everything else in life, you gotta start somewhere. A project like this is just a whole bunch of wood sitting around in the way. Yeah, we're in the mock-up phase here, making sure everything's doable. When you're building something, two important things to remember. Form follows function, and anyone can build it strong, but build it strong and lightweight. And that's the secret. And here what we're doing is we're combining the TV with the little Bose speakers that the woofer will be underneath the bed. And this thing will be able to pivot. You can watch it from bed, or you can spin it around and sit in the reverse front seat and watch it. So it's going to work out nice, but once again, you want nice flowing curves. But the most important thing is form follows function. You know, with this coronavirus and the acid rain and the emerald ash borer, sometimes you have to step back, replace the blade on the saw, or replace a sanding belt. There's no better feeling than stopping your production to replace a blade that is 5 years old. The small joys in life. There were many modifications made which required taking everything in and out probably 20 times. You got to get it right before you paint it. On the bottom I glued runners that are made out of cherry, a little harder, and rounded the edges real nice so it slides in and out very easily. Yeah, it's starting to come together, just making up a list of the last details before paint. Just getting everything ready for the TV and the stereo, which is going to go in here, and then I ran a conduit for everything to go back through there. When I'm doing a lot of the same things like cutting handholds, I like making a little template, make them all the same, save some time. This is a piece of walnut. It's going to look real nice. It's going to be the rail that goes along the top of the bed. One of the few little trim items out of walnut. Forget about Velcro. Very handy for attaching things, and it's also very quiet. Doing your wiring, take a little extra time, use some wire ties, tie all the loose ends up, and make it look nice even though you don't see it. Yeah, you got to spend a lot of time looking, thinking, writing things down before you cut any plywood. Whenever you're working with hardwood, you have to drill the holes, pilot holes, and certainly countersink if you want it to look nice. After some modifications to the slide out part of the bed, I can slide the cooler underneath there. I'm going to make some sort of a platform to sit it on so it's got some guides and something that'll hold it in place. This piece of 1/2-inch plywood which slides right back under there, and it's kind of held in place by these notches around the fender well. We'll now put some guides on it so that the cooler will stay in place. I'm just figuring out where I want my guide rails to go. And you got to remember that cooler is going to be heavy when it's full, so that the back stop piece has to be pretty substantial. It's going to be glued and screwed. I'm just fabricating the hinges for some of the cabinets. I just used some aluminum angle, and then I like to use a bolt with a locking, self-locking nut, nylock nut. And then I'll cut a couple little rings out of this and put it in between there because quiet, no squeaks and rattles. I spent as much on chemicals as I did on plywood. Just a couple of the little shelves that we're going to use to hold in some of the window plugs, and it'll give you some storage in the back there. You don't need a whole lot, but you want somewhere to put your glasses. Finishing everything up here before the last coat, and I can't stress enough, always drill your pilot holes when you're dealing with hardwood, because you don't want to split something here right when you're coming down to the wire. Using satin polyurethane, that stuff in the bottom that you bring up, that's what makes it satiny. So it's real important to get that stirred up real well. This is the entertainment system here. Spins around. Watch it from bed. And once again, quiet. It's bolted down with a nylock 1/4-inch bolt, but then with a plastic disc, a hard plastic disc separating the two pieces. Unlike a Lazy Susan, this is quiet. No rattles out of the ball bearings in a Lazy Susan. We're holding things down with turnbuckles to the chair mounts that are built into the floor. For the lighting, the stereo, the TV, everything is built right into Module 1. So when you take that out, everything goes with it. Very easy to take in and out. Well, here we are for the final inspection of Module 1 with my best friend, and she has her best friend with her. This is Bodie. Hi, Bodie. He's Mr. Perfect. For the next episode, we're going to talk about the Module 2, which goes in the side here, and that's going to house all the other necessities like water, sink, microwave, toilet, and a heating system. So that'll be on the next episode, and as always, we thank you for being with us, and we appreciate you subscribing to us on YouTube. All Shops, Great and Small, will come up, but also Robert Logue is my channel. And you want to see the episode on electricity and generators, sizing a generator, because we're going to be coming up on that when we build Module 3, which is going to be on the back door, which is going to provide us with a generator, an air conditioner, and some additional storage. So that will be the last part of getting comfortable. Thank you for being with us.